We're Thayne and Chris Rasmussen.
You're going
This
to
is
restart.
Chris.
Sorry, it didn't go yet. So go ahead and go again.
Hi, this is Chris and Thayne Rasmussen. Chris is Karen's sister, along with Colleen.
Thayne.
And here's her story.
Okay. Mine is not a favorite memory. It's a memory that my sister, Karen, supported me in. I was 17 years old, and my mom was gone. She had passed away, and I was the oldest girl at home. And Dad was on a fishing trip with Scoop, the ortho salesman, and he was going to be gone for about a week. And Saturday morning came, I think it was Saturday morning, I was opening the nursery. I opened the nursery and opened the gates. It was 7 o'clock in the morning. Went back in the house to get breakfast and stuff set up. When Jimmy Coffin came, he was a kid that worked with us at the nursery. And he went ahead and come and he knocked on the door and he had this panic look on his face. And I said, Jimmy, what's the matter? And he says, Butch, he's down on State Street. And he says he's been hit on his motorcycle. And he says they won't pick him up off the road until somebody 21 years of age comes and signs for him. Dad was gone, and so I had to call Karen. And so I went up in the car, the Lincoln, and picked her up and went down to State Street. And Butch was laying in the middle of the street. And there was it seemed like 500 people standing around him, gawking at him. And his leg was bent, and the helmet was off, but he says, I'm so sore, I hurt so bad. And Karen and I went on over and talked to him for a bit. And they picked him up and put him in the ambulance. And Karen went ahead and she says, I'm going to ride with him. I says, okay. And she told me later, she says they told her if she rode with him, she couldn't cry. And I followed in the car and we went down to the hospital. And when we got there, they had Butch. They had taken Butch and put him in the hall. They didn't have a bed for him. And they had given him some morphine. And he was allergic to it. So he had thrown up all over himself. And he was in the hospital for a little bit. But I don't know what I would have done if I would never had Karen. After having Mom die the year before, I don't know what I would have done if nobody would have been there to help me and be with me and she was basically the big person that took care of it. And so that's a memory that I really have been blessed. I was blessed to have her there because I don't know what I would have done. And I really do love her for that. She was always good to me. I loved to go ahead and follow what she was doing. She always wore Lady Van Heusen shirts, and they had lace on the sleeves and that. And then they stopped making them, and I was sad when they stopped making them because Karen always looked so good in them, so I bought them. And then she went to bow blouses, so we went to bow blouses, and then I made a suit in school when I was a senior in high school. And so she went to Grandma Hunt, and Grandma Hunt helped her make one. And so she spent a week down with Grandma Hunt. I learned how to sew really good, and that was really good. And those are good memories because we had suits that looked alike, but they were different. Hers was brown and mine was a tweed color, and it was really kind of fun to learn and grow from each other as we did things. And so those are fond memories. I'll always have good memories of how she taught me about kids and stuff because Mom was always sick. She was always sick. I mean, she started out when Colleen and I was 2 and 3 years old. And then she ended up getting sick when I was probably about 10, 11. And she went in for surgery. And at that time, she couldn't go to the bathroom. And so they did surgery on her at that time. And then about 3 years later, she got it again. And then that's the one that she had radiation from, and it went to the wires that they left in her. And so without Karen to help us, and we had fun times with Bill, you know, we did. We loved Bill. He'd come and he'd get on his little Trail 70s, and we'd go from their house down to our house through the back roads to the nursery and then back up. And we had lots of fun with the two of them. Mm-hmm. And we will all, you know, I have fond memories of all that. They were good to us. And so I love her. I will miss her. But it is what it is, and I'm going there, you know, in a few more years. It'll be a while. And I'll be there too. So.
How about you, Thayne?
Well, my memories is mostly most recently. Karen has always been optimistic, and I always just roll over it, keep going kind of attitude. That's how I interpreted it. But this last little while, once she was diagnosed with cancer, I was astounded. I truly was at how well she reacted and coped with it. I mean, miracle number one, she didn't have tremendous pain. A lot of cancer patients, that's not the case. But I was so impressed that, boy, all right, there's a problem, let's go play while we can. And she did, they did, you know, and I give them full marks for that. But even toward the end, the last week, you know, even then, always positive. I didn't hear any complaints. It's always, anything she said was always positive. Wow, that is, what can I say? I'd give her full marks. You know, there's a good person, a really good person. Next phase. Now share this because I felt it at the time. I'm brother-in-law, so really I felt kind of, and I didn't have lots of involvement. You know, like we weren't down here most of the time. So I kind of felt like, boy, should I even be here on the evening that she passed? But I tell you what I felt. Honestly, as we were sitting there, the last hour, I made the comment, well, I spoke to myself, and then my wife reaffirmed it later, but I made the thought, or the thought came to me, oh, I wonder how many other people are in this room, because it was crowded. And I'm not talking about persons, I'm talking about when my dad passed, that's the only other death I've actually witnessed, you know, not fire-related. But it was, you could feel the presence of people in that room. And this was the same. It truly was. And I was touched by that, because you could feel it. And then the other thing I noticed, right there, that last 10 minutes, Chris was up at the top of the bed on the right, and there was Karina right there, and I was back a little bit because I didn't want to be in the way. And then the rest of the bed was filled of people. You were at the head, Marina. But I could feel the prayers. Karina was right there, and I could just see it and feel it. And you could feel them from one side of the room and from the back of the room. People that were there, I could, maybe that's the wrong way to say it. It's not about me. No, it's not that. But I could sense that there was a lot of prayers being offered at that moment. And that truly impressed me. This is a great family. It doesn't get any better than this, you know? And I'm impressed at how well the family held together, and everybody worked, and, you know, and just went through it. And it's like today, rare for me, rare is the time that you see such a positive funeral. I am impressed, you know? Everyone did really well. And all I can say is, thank you, all of you, because it's been a tremendous learning experience, and I am grateful. I truly am. So thank you so much.
Is there anything else you want to add?
I can say
Sorry.
with the way Karen was and the way she did it, she passed away. She is her mother's daughter. Her mother was a lot like that. She was always positive like that. And Karen did good. And as far as I remember leaning over to Colleen at the end when we were waiting for Karen to pass away about a half an hour, 40 minutes before, and I leaned over to Colleen and I says, "They're here." She says, "I know," because we could sense and feel their presence, our parents. We could sense them and know that they were there. It's a very special thing. And we learned that from when our mother passed away. And so I'm grateful for that witness to me, that they come to get her. I was praying so hard so she could be done and be through it. And I'm grateful for her, and I will always be grateful for her for being my oldest sister. So anyway, that's enough.
Thank heaven, thank the good Lord.
Yeah,
Life is good.
it is.
Thank you.